That's what it is. Simply, I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm not doing nothing.
It's not I'm mad at you. It's I'm busy.
Mr. DJ, that's my song too, nigga. That's play the song again for no reason. Let me see it.
But today we are going to be chatting with a nurse, an author, a studio owner, a very versatile studio owner, a fellow business consultant. And this is all one person, by the way. We don't have a full studio today. So I want to take a second to welcome our special guest, Byrd.
Hi.
And for the people who don't know you, who haven't been able to come to the studio yet, or who haven't worked with you in all your other ways you work, kind of give a brief rundown of who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Okay. Well, I'm Byrd. I am originally from Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. But everybody say I'm from Detroit now because I've been in both places probably the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm old. Yeah, I don't look old, but I'm old.
Definitely do.
So I am a author. I have 20 self-published books.
Wow. That I didn't know.
Yeah, 20 of them. 20. I don't know how
20?
I did it. Yeah, 20.
I knew I would find new stuff about you today because I'm like, I know based on what she does, I know it's more.
Yeah, I got 20 of them.
Wow.
I've been writing since I was like 7, but I published my very first book. It was after my divorce. I published that 2013.
Wow.
And since then, I put out 20 of them.
Wow. So you fell in love with it. So, I mean, what's the main genre for the books?
Urban fiction and women's fiction.
Wow.
And I got a little bit of erotic and and I got self-help and I'm just kind of all over the place.
Wow, that's dope. Like I don't know too much about authors, but that sounds like a pretty versatile lineup for authors to go from the self-help all the way from the spectrums. But
yeah, I call myself the Jill of all genres. I actually got a trademark.
Wow.
I do a lot of I'm all over the place. So, and then I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 15 years.
Wow.
Told y'all I'm old.
Oh no, I meant wow as like, oh no, not that wow. Wow as in wow, like actually a nurse too, but
yeah, I've been a nurse 15 years. I started nursing during the pandemic. It was my God, I'm so.
I was gonna ask about that.
No, I said, oh y'all see me no more. I'm good. And
great.
Then I took some time off, and then in 2021, I took some more time off, took care of my mom till she passed. And then in 2022, I opened the studio. And
wow.
so and I've been doing business consulting for about 10 years. Started doing it professionally, like full time during the pandemic. And I homeschool.
Oh man, everything you're listing is like such a task in itself, and it's like you just add them on.
I love homeschooling.
I climbed Mount Everest.
Right. I mean, I had to, right?
Just with my t-shirt on, basically.
I always say the only thing I haven't done yet was strip. That's probably that's like if the studio started losing more money, I might have.
Right. I mean, I can see.
A little toe in. They're gonna get the most laziest stripper though. So I can't even go upstairs.
Oh my God. So I mean, out of all the hats you wear, so one thing I wanted to ask was about the pandemic for the nursing, because I was in and out of the hospital a lot during the pandemic and saw just how crazy it was. But so you got out like after like stuff started happening, or you like when did you kind of stop during that time?
In May.
Oh, so like right, okay.
May. I do home care. I've primarily done home care almost my whole nursing career. I did a few hospitals and nursing homes, but I love home care. I love being able to make my own schedule. I love the flexibility. And during the pandemic, we didn't have any masks. We didn't have no sanitizer.
Oh my God.
We didn't have no gloves. And going to this little lady's house who's 90 and then having to go to this lady's house who's 100 and not know if I'm carrying COVID because we didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And not know, it was so nerve-wracking. And then the company's like, oh, we don't have no sanitizer. So we're literally going downtown to like the beer brewery and like buying sanitizer that they make. And friends are making each other masks, and I'm carrying around jugs of water in my car to wash my hands. I'm like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it.
I would have been done with that too.
And then the patients, you know, they don't really get to see a lot of people all the time. So they want to see a face. And we didn't have transparent masks at the time. So it was like, I can't put my mask down. And they sad, and it was so depressing. I was like, you know,
sad today, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do it.
Go ahead and cough over there.
Yeah, like, let me just see up. I said, I can't. Because my fear was like, what if I kill this old lady?
Yeah, and then that's on your hands.
Yeah,
true.
I just couldn't do it. And, you know, I'm literally changing my clothes in between patients and going
that was
through
a lot.
10 different uniforms, stripping outside. See, I could have been a stripper. Stripping outside, trying to change my outfits. It was too, and then getting home and just praying I don't give it to my baby. You know, having to take all my clothes off outside, go into the basement, get a shower down there. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. So yeah, I had to go.
And crazy with the mask, not being able to show your face. Cause I remember, I mean, me, like, I'm an empath, and like I kind of feed off people's emotions. Whenever I'm at the doctor, seeing a doctor smile does help a lot. Or like just seeing a doctor, you know, give you news and watching their demeanor as they give it. So it's like without that, I mean, I know for people with anxiety, I know that was kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and these were people who never got out of the house. This is why they had home care. You know, so they probably only saw nursing staff and physical therapy. So they only get to see 3 people a week, and they don't even get to see you smile. Like, it was a lot for them. It was a lot.
Man, I know and I wanted to ask about that because I know, I mean, we should, like, as a whole collective, a country should have like a surviving COVID documentary, because it was just like everyone has such different experiences. Some people like it was a blessing for them. You know, a lot of business owners were able to capitalize on, you know, different things that happened during that time and make themselves useful for different things. And some people just like kind of derail life completely. So I was definitely interested in that, but seeing that you had so many different things, it was just like, oh, you know, I can just put on a different hat, you know, for the time being. And
that's crazy. I never thought about the home care patients. I only thought about the hospitals. I never thought about that. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, they set up in their house and they couldn't do any, like they had, because they didn't have any visits from family. And then when they had visits from us, like I said, it was so, like, we're far, like how she is. I'm talking to them so far away. And
like they like they're Monsters Inc. or something.
They're like, can I please just see you? They're begging to see you. And it was sad. It was so sad. And then, like I said, my fear of getting them sick, you know, like, oh my God, if I get this person sick, like if they die, I'm gonna feel so guilty. Like, it was just way too much. It was way too much.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I mean, it's definitely a good decision to kind of take a break from that. I mean, especially having the you know, the option. I know that was, you know, a blessing. But I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, nursing. We talked a little bit about, you know, the author, you know, your author, you know, publishing career. What about the homeschooling? So like, kind of walk through, like, was it like since they started school? Like, was it like after a certain point, or like, how did that come about?
She's never been to school.
Wow.
I've homeschooled since forever. She's only 8. She'll be 9 in December. Okay. But she's never been to school. Okay. It wasn't a plan of mine to homeschool. I always thought I was gonna be like that mama that dropped your kids off in kindergarten. Like, oh, I miss you. But living in Detroit, I was like, there really ain't no schools over here I want to send her to. And then if I take her outside of the city, I got to deal with the issues of her being outside of the city, and I got to do the extra driving. And she was really easy to teach. So I was like, you know what? Let's just start, you know, I started teaching her way early. But I was just like, she's so easy. If it continues this way, I'm going to just keep homeschooling. And as she got to 4, it was really easy. 5, really easy. 6, I'm like, okay, well, we just gonna stick this out, and I've been homeschooling since.
So what's the process? Like, are you using like a online school, or are you just doing like
I make all her curriculum myself? Wow. Yeah, I make it all myself. So I do it all based on themes. So she'll say like something that pique her interest. So for example, we went to Disney World in September. So I taught her a lot about Florida. I taught her a lot about the ocean. I taught her a lot about the beaches. I taught her a lot about, you know, all of that. And then we flew there, and then we drove to Daytona Beach, and she got to see the beaches. And that's what we do a lot. So like when she wanted to learn about dolphins, we drove to Virginia Beach. We saw the dolphins there. When she wanted to learn about California, I taught her about it. Then we flew to California. She wanted to know about Vegas. She with the baby.
Hands-on learning. I like that. Okay.
So I knew that her going to school, we wouldn't have that flexibility. We wouldn't have the flexibility to just get up and go. Sometimes, like, she's learning about the Great Lakes right now. So, you know, a lot about Michigan and how Michigan got more lighthouses than anywhere in the whole world. So we have the list of lighthouses and we go lighthouse hunting and, you know, visit the different lighthouses. And we go up north to Torch Lake, and she learned about why the water looks like that versus like this. And she gets to see everything hands-on. So I just make her curriculum myself.
I like that.
She is. I would love to meet her. I'm sure she's like super. She's ahead of the game. Like, geez. I mean, if I would be as she should with her record. I mean, man.
But she has a lot of homeschooling friends. You know, it's a bunch of homeschooling groups. Right now, she's with a friend.
That's awesome.
Her best friend's birthday is today, and she's homeschooled. So she spent the night last night, and they're celebrating today. And yeah, she's in a lot of different groups, and it's so many different homeschooling communities out here that are so supportive, and they help you out, and they all have so many resources and everything. But they do have a lot of homeschooling like programs, like you were saying, a lot of homeschooling programs. So you don't have to make the curriculum yourself, but I know how she, and I know how she learns. So I try to teach her how she learns, and a lot of the programs don't do that. So I'm like, okay, she's a hands-on type of kid. She likes to see it and feel it and all of that. So I'm like, you know what, we'll just do it this way. And we tried other ways, but it didn't work. She likes her way.
What do you think the pros and cons are of homeschooling versus going to a regular school?
So, well, I would say maybe one of the cons is like having a lot of friends, but then I can't really say that because she got more friends than a lot of kids. Like, at one of her parties, we had like 50 some kids there. Like, she got a lot of friends. And everybody's like, oh my God, what about her socialization? I'm like, what about it? She talk more than I do. You know? But she's in ballet.
Because this is going to be based off how you do your homeschooling. If you just giving her the coursework and sitting her in a chair, that's what she's going to have.
Some kids don't even get to leave the house, you know, but she's in ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, gymnastics, musical theater, singing, acting, and she's always at the studio, and she has a lot of friends, and she's always at birthday parties. So she has a lot of social life, too much, if you ask me. But that would probably be the biggest con, like not having that school experience. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, you go to school, you got those school friends, and you have that, especially high school. You know, I always ask her, like, do you want to go to high school? And she's like, no. You know, and I'm like, maybe you'll change your mind, which if she do, I will let her go to high school, because it's like, you know, what about cheerleading and stuff? But it's so many other programs now.
Yeah, that's involved with high school.
Yeah, but but now in certain cities, she can still join their sports and not be a part of their school.
Okay, now that's really good.
Yeah, so she can still join like a cheerleading team and everything, and not be a part of their school, not go to their school. So it's a lot of little tweaks to it or whatever. And the pros is we just got so much flexibility, and when she's tired, she don't have to do school. You know, it's not a fuss. It's not like when she's up or she's not feeling good, it's like, don't worry about it today. We'll get back to it tomorrow. And the traveling, she loves to travel, preferably by plane. She does not like the road. But
that's really good, because Rennie kicked me out, not because of my grades, but because I was missing so much school. They were saying basically, you ain't giving us enough money because you're never here.
You gotta go.
I'm like, dang, like I have people like, how are you still doing good grades? And I'm like, you know, because I'm smart. But they was like, no, baby, you missing way too much school, so you out of here. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, and that's how I be, you know. So I'm like, So we like it the way it is. And like I said, if it needs to change, I know her going to a school, it wouldn't be that big of an adjustment. She's such a people person. She can jump into it. She's like a comedian.
Yeah, that's what makes it good that you're doing it the way that you're doing it. So she's grown to be social and socially aware too, because she's around different people, seeing how different people work and things. So if you do make that transition, it's not going to be so harsh.
Exactly. Exactly. They're going to be calling me to school. I can see it now. Like,
This is this young lady too.
She's at it again. I'm like, oh Lord.
And it's like the biggest reason I wanted to bring up homeschooling, because I feel like it's one of those topics that people are really quick to just insert their opinions on and just shoot it down, mainly because, and this usually happens with a lot of things that are said to be healthy, good alternatives, because people are either, when things are either expensive, take a lot of effort or things like that, people would rather just say it wouldn't work than entertain it. And I think that's one of these things, because when I think about homeschooling, it's like when you look at the cons and you look at the cons of regular high school, I'm going to take the cons of homeschooling all day, because it's like, it seems like you just, the biggest difference is with homeschooling, it seems like you just have to put more effort in to make sure they have that social aspect, as opposed to with high school, you have to put a lot of effort in to unlearn the things that they're going to learn from their peers who have been taught the wrong way. So I feel like a lot of people focus on the kinds of things that are just hard to do, because I feel like this is definitely not an easy alternative, but it probably is way more helpful for the
and
kid.
it's so taboo. I get people all the time like, you homeschool? What? Why? Because y'all Christians.
They always got us.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the Bible.
Man,
it's convenient for us.
And even if it did, and
right,
what about it? They look at you like you're crazy when I say I'm homeschool. I mean, they be like, oh, is your child socially awkward? I'm like, she's not socially awkward at all.
I feel like if you're weird, they'll be weird.
That's what I'm like.
Exactly.
Right. If they come out that if I'm not weird, I shouldn't be worried. Like I never understood that. Have some TV. I mean, if you never have TV on, just box house, sure. But I never understood that, like how someone could just be in a house with two cool adults and just turn out not able to. No, I never felt for that.
I'm 37. School is so different now. Like high school and elementary school and the bullying. I mean, we don't get us wrong. We missing people stuff in the locker.
Y'all beat people up because of what they was wearing. Man,
we started uniforms.
Yeah.
We started uniforms,
Oh my God.
It's still so different, with the bullying now. Like these kids,
there's so many things you can bully people with.
Almost every friend that I have who kids are in school right now are literally going through this whole bullying situation. Like every single one of them. And my daughter's like, I'm gonna go there and beat somebody else. I'm like, girl, you are not even from the hood. Like, don't even try it.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it's so many kinds that people could try to bring up, but like I think one thing I want to ask is, how has that, either when it comes to the dynamic between a teacher and the dynamic between a child and a mom is obviously different. So kind of walk us through how that has either strengthened the dynamic with the family, or has it went the other way?
You know what? Since I've always been her teacher, it's for her it's normal. For her it's no different than, and she shows me the same respect and everything as she does her dance teachers and stuff. She gets right to her work. She knows what she has to do. She knows I'm playing no games, and she gets it done. But I've always been the teacher for her, so for her it's no.
It was not like an adjustment.
Yeah, it's not. If she.
This is always what life has been.
Yeah. Like if she would have came home, like all my friends was calling me during the pandemic. Oh my God, Byrd, please tell me how you doing, because I'm losing my mind on here. I can't do it. But they kids didn't see them as teachers. They kids saw them as mommy, so they was just like, girl, I ain't doing this work. But for us, this is norm. You know what I mean? This is what we always do. This
mama,
is what's going on. Are you acting like now? I know what you're doing. So, but it's not a problem. She looked at me like I'm the teacher.
And that's how it should be. And it seems like with that, it could be difficult, but it seems like, I would be hitting you up too as one of your friends, like, how do you do it? But what's all the different hats you wear at this point? Like, which one? Obviously, being a mom is like once in a lifetime thing. But all the hats you wear, which one is your favorite?
Being a mom.
I knew that one would probably be pretty high up there.
Being a mom, and I say that not only because I've lost 6 other babies. I've had 2 stillborns. I've had 4 miscarriages. So having her is like. Man. I'm so happy. So I'm just so overjoyed to have her and to watch her grow. And I know how fast that time goes by, and it's like, I want to make sure I enjoy every moment of being her mom, because to 1 minute, I won't be her mom. And life's so short, I've lost both of my brothers to gun violence. I lost my mom. I lost my dad. So I know how short life can be. So I'm just like, I couldn't, my youngest brother, he was killed when he was 20. So it's like, I couldn't imagine only having her for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, so I just enjoy probably that more than anything in the whole world. Anything in the whole world.
Wow, and then homeschooling gives you, that extra, because we spend so much time at school and work, and it's like you get to keep all that big chunk at home. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I take her around. If I have a sitter who comes Monday through Friday, and my sitter keeps her after I start homeschooling until I get back home. But it's so nice to be able to bring her to the studio if I need to.
Yeah.
I've taken her to patients' houses if I had to.
Wow.
So I'd like to just be able to be like, oh no, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. And I just couldn't imagine them school lines.
That sucks. It sucks so bad.
People who be waiting to pick their kids up.
Yeah.
My girlfriend be like, I gotta be there at 2:00. I said, your kid don't get to go to 4.
She like around the corner. I walked around the corner and
got set up shop
there with cheese and crackers. He was like, I got you some cheese and crackers. I'm like, okay.
Get you a good book.
But it was a lot quicker than him standing in that line.
Yeah, see,
I feel like my dad should have homeschooled me, because how you would just bring her to the studio or to your client's house is like, that was me, but I was in regular school. That's why I was missing so much school, because I was with my daddy.
See, daddy probably didn't know
he should have homeschooled me.
A lot of parents don't think
I feel like they could have did that.
A lot of parents don't think they can.
Right. But I feel like because it's like, I feel like it's just like sales and a lot of these things, there's so many nuanced things that are similar, but I feel like with the homeschooling, I assume there's a certain dynamic and there's a certain amount of respect you have to earn before that happens.
Yeah.
But I feel like before, if you don't have the proper amount of respect and you try to homeschool your kid, it's not going to work. They're not going to be listening. So I feel like you probably can only homeschool them if you kind of have set it up the right way from the jump, honestly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, someone else gonna have to do it.
Yeah, and and legally nobody can. So legally nobody else can homeschool your child.
What? You can't hire someone to come and homeschool?
You can hire someone to tutor, but you cannot hire someone to homeschool. It's against the law.
That's probably for good reason.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that.
If that's the case, then send them to private school or send them to school.
Right. We eating into their money. I'm thinking they was doing it for the kid.
No, you're not homeschooling anymore then. But she has a tutor and everything, because it's like when certain math come, I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna be able to teach you that.
Yeah, me too.
Go over there. I don't know nothing about that math.
Oh my god.
But yeah, she learns quick, so it's easy.
Wow. So it's like we have so many different things. So like, walk me through where the studio came into play. So like, how did that come about? Where'd you get the idea, and kind of like, what's next?
Okay. So I love content, like love it. I love creating content. I love creating stories. Obviously I write. So when my mom passed, I went completely blank. Like, I didn't have a creative bone in my body. I'm like, oh my God, I lost it. Like, I literally was like, that's it. I can't write a book. I can't think of nothing. Wow. So I took a break, and I was like, I'm gonna just take a break and just see what happened. I ate a lot of food, too much food.
Yeah, understandably.
Cholesterol went through the roof. But I was in the shower one day, and I actually was getting ready to do a photo shoot to rebrand myself. And I wanted to do like a lifestyle shoot. I could not find anywhere to really do a lifestyle shoot. Then I tried Airbnbs, and then a lot of them was like, oh no, we don't want professional photography, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? So I contacted a friend, and he was like, well, we can just do it at my friend's studio. And I'm like, I wanted something more, lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and did the photo shoot. Came out wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful, but it didn't give me what I needed. Right. So I was in the shower one day, high as a kite.
I feel that.
Of course.
I didn't smoke, I didn't drink or anything. After my mom passed, I started doing edibles because it would help me,
I feel that.
So I was in the shower, high as a kite. And this particular day, I was in the shower, and then I realized there wasn't no water running. So I was like standing in the shower.
You was really there.
I had like a shower cap and everything, and I was in the shower like this. And but when no water going.
Oh my God.
So I turned the water on, and
I'm trying to get like that.
Man, hit up your supplier.
So I was like, you know what? What if I just make my own place to create content? So I got out the shower, and I got my notebook, and I wrote everything down. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own studio. I'm gonna call it Executive Studio. And literally just that fast. And that was in July of last year. Wow. And I told my husband, I said, I know what I want to do. And I told him about it, and he was like, Okay, let's do it then. So we started with the business plan and all that stuff in August. Started kind of getting all the paperwork together, figuring out if I really wanted to do this, doing my research, looking at other places, looking at competition. Then in October, we had to file all our paperwork, and we acquired this space in November. Wow. And after we got in November, it was a gym. So it was just wide open gym. And my husband's an architect and he has a building team. Wow. So they built everything. They built everything. They lined everything up. They built my rooms. Wow. I had decorated them all, and we opened in February. So it was like boom, boom.
I love that.
That's crazy. That's a heck of a story. So have you started like writing a memoir or something like that?
No.
I mean, you have like a movie type.
A crazy life.
Yeah.
So some things like my mom was only 14 years older than me.
Wow.
So it was like growing up with a sister. And
like
my mom and my dad sold drugs. So we done been raided and robbed, and I learned how to shoot at 6.
And look at you now.
Oh, right, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I don't want to hear none of that stuff. How people be like, "Was how I was raised."
Oh no,
you can make it like even when Joker was
No, it's if you want to make that change.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah. It wasn't nothing nobody could tell me. I'm like, nah, I got it. And my mom, she changed her life around a lot. When she got in her late 20s, I want to say, but it still was, really hard. I've been to 13 different schools. I moved over 50 times as a kid.
Wow.
I moved a lot.
Right, yeah.
Moved a lot because it was always us getting robbed, or raided, or I learned at 6 how to get rid of drugs. How to flush them down the toilet, how to have an extra bucket of water because they're gonna turn your water off when they come to raid you.
Wow.
They don't flushing nothing. You gotta have an extra bucket to do that last. Wow. So I okay. Don't try this at home. But yeah, it was, I had to learn how to protect the family. I shot shotguns at 7. I had guns at 6. I had a 380. I took to high school. So I had a crazy life, So
it definitely be number one seller.
That could be. So that has to be a book and it has to be a movie. What actor would you have play you if you could choose?
God, I don't know. It gotta be somebody who look like a stripper.
So I
always wanted to be a stripper,
for fun.
Like, I'm gonna strip. I couldn't dare. I couldn't swing around the pole.
Man, it'd be like, it'd be taking some strength, and they be, the good ones, I feel like there's probably like lazy ones that just,
I know exactly
It's like,
oh my God.
Yeah, we used to be at the King of Diamonds in Miami. I was like, oh my God, this is art,
Oh my God.
I want that black lady because you were saying you old. I'm like, don't look old. It's this black actress. She been around since forever before I was even born, and she still look like she about 30. I can't figure out what her name is.
Oh my God.
You know what? So many of them don't look old, at all. I'm hoping that's what I do. I'm hoping
you're doing pretty good right now.
And 60s, and I'm still out here, getting the young boys looking.
But yeah, okay. But speaking of, so I know you mentioned husbands. So we it's funny how we started doing this podcast started off as just me and my guy Rose talking about business and entrepreneurship, and we had always wanted to like have our have a relationship podcast or a talk, but we had just been so busy. And I just thought, you know what, instead of making you like commit full on, you can just be on my show and do it when you want, so you don't have like your name attached, and it's like if it's bad if you don't show up. But kind of talk us through, hearing the fact that you are able to do all these things that seem impossible to people. And it's like, you also mentioned husband, like how do you balance everything like that you do, plus also make time for him?
So this is my second marriage. Hopefully my last. No. But yeah, this is my second marriage. My first, I got married young. My first marriage, I think I got married at 20. And that marriage was dead. But now, I got married. My husband now, I think I married at like 28. So we've been together 12 years.
Nice. Okay.
So he's an entrepreneur as well. He's a mortgage broker. He does commercial and real estate. He has a trucking company. He's an architect. He has a real estate company. So he's just as busy as I am. But really just allowing each other to have our space. Just allowing that not feeling like we got to be under each other all the time. Just appreciating that, I am very like, oh, where you? I don't even know where you're going. I don't even know who you with. I don't even know when you come back. Are you gonna be good? You good? Okay, I'm good. And I still cook. I still grocery shop. I still clean.
Wow.
And just doing my part, just mainly focusing on my part and not focusing on his part. Like he needs to focus on his part so that he can give me what I deserve. And I need to focus on my part so that I can give him, and I can't worry about what he's doing. I have to worry about what I'm doing so that I can be the best person that I can be.
That is a deep way to go. Because it's funny, I always say focus on the things that you can control, but I always find myself as the person like, where are you? Who are you with? When will you be back? So
it's important to have that space because we're busy. Life gets busy, and you have to make sure that you do set a time aside for each other. You do plan dates with each other. You do say, okay, you know what, once a month we're gonna make sure that we at least go on one date. Especially when you have a kid, because that changes everything.
Right. Yeah.
But just making sure that you have some me time, and then that you also have some us time. And because if you don't have any me time, then that's just going to be just bad, because now you're always with that person. And when you're entrepreneurs, you have more chances of being together all the time than working like a regular job.
True.
So you have to make sure that you allow each other to have that space and to be able to trust each other enough to be like, if I look at the time, it's 3 a.m. and my husband at home, I send a text, you good? Yeah, okay. I'm going back to bed. I'm not about to worry about what you're doing or who you're doing it with or where you're going or what you're doing. I just ain't got the energy for it. I'm trying to make some money,
I feel that.
But it just allows us to not feel like, the other person is trying to track our whereabouts at all time, and just adding more unnecessary stress into the relationship. It's like whatever's done in the dark will come to light, whether you do it or not. But just you be good, I'm gonna be good. We're gonna make this money together. We're gonna take care of our child. And I'll let you see you.
I like that. So it's sound like a place of a level of stoicism you have to achieve. There's a level of trust that you have to have. And it sounds like, sounds like you guys both, obviously at this point you've leaned into who you are as people and kind of found your way. Do you recommend people like not date before they get to that point? Or like, what are some tips for people who are in a relationship but maybe haven't found out who they are? Because I know that's usually why there could be issues.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like one.
Because then you're just following each other's lead, and no one really knows where they're going.
Exactly. Well, when we're in our 20s and stuff, it was a little harder because nobody really knows where they're going. When you're 20s, but definitely kind of having an idea of where you want to be. If women don't necessarily have a harder time with kind of holding on to the coattail, or at least like building themselves while they're in a relationship. Sometimes men will get into this relationship and then they'll be like, oh, you know what? I ain't where I want to be yet. So now I got to pump the brakes on this, or now I got to start acting different, or now I got to start doing. A lot of people need to just find out where you want to go before you get there. And if that person is even the person that you want to go on that journey with, and a lot of people got to understand too, well, sometimes when you get in your 30s or your late 30s or your 40s or your 50s, the person that you started with, y'all just not on the same path anymore. And that's perfectly fine. And that's okay. And it's just like, what? We were meant to be together for that point in our lives to do what we did. And now it's time to go our own ways. And that's perfectly fine. It's okay. And a lot of people don't want to, accept that either. But a lot of men, I always say, like, I hate to talk bad about my first husband, but one thing my first husband did was he married me because of what everybody else thought of me. He didn't marry me because he wanted me. He married me because everybody else wanted me. So it was like, oh, she's so smart, or she's so pretty, or she's so easy. And it was like, oh, I'm gonna marry her because everybody else wanted that, So he wasn't.
I feel like so many people do that.
Especially I think even more so on like the women's side, because especially when they say you got a good man, you don't want to let him go, and it's like,
because you just grab me.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, bro. I thought I was gonna butcher it.
But that's what happens. Like you said, both sides. You'd be like, oh, let me hurry up and get this person so nobody else can get this person. Right. But I I'm not even ready for that person yet.
Yeah.
But maybe I can figure it out when I get there. And then you trying to figure it out. Now we're going through what we're going through because your ass should have left me alone.
Yep.
And because people want what everybody wants, when you have it, then it's like, I got it.
You get complacent.
And that's what happened with my first marriage. He wanted me because everybody else wanted me. He wanted me because of what everybody else thought of me. And he didn't really want me. He wanted me as a wife. He didn't want me as a friend. And it's very important to be your spouse's friend because like what we gonna do together if we ain't even friends, but for him it's you're my wife, have kids, and he couldn't accept the fact that I wanted to do more. When I finished nursing school, he was like, I gotta get a better job so I can make more money than you. It was always a competition. You can't be in competition with your spouse. You can't do that. We gotta build together.
I feel that.
We can't be trying to go back and forth with each other who can do it better or who can somebody got time for that, and that's what happened. He wanted that so bad. He wanted to be better than me. He wanted to be the man. And it's okay with being the man and still having your woman help you, still going 50-50.
Because that's it's supposed to be an equal.
Exactly.
You pouring into each other.
It's like the man is supposed to be like the leader and things of that nature, but the woman is supposed to be there to be kind of equal value, but a different department. The support, the nurturing, the et cetera, everything else that we do.
Girl, man. The whole
everything. We just bring home some bread, and now y'all make bread too. So it's like, man.
Yeah, but some men can't handle that. Some men can't handle watching a woman make money like they make money.
I feel like
they don't
it
want
means
to.
Something else than what it does. It doesn't mean that I'm more of a man.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that you're less of a man.
It doesn't mean I can't.
You're not doing what you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because if I wanted to hang up the hook, I could.
Exactly.
So whether you making more money than me or got a business like I do or as work is whatever the deal is. The main thing is if I wanted to lay this hat up, I absolutely could if I wanted to.
It's
that's
hard
all that matters.
Here. It is hard. I tell my friends all the time when they be like, girl, I need somebody to pay my bills. Like, girl, you can't pay your own goddamn bill.
Man, talk to her.
You want him to come with everything, but you can't do it either. It's okay to go 50-50. It's okay to build together. It's okay.
I just feel like whatever works for you works. For you.
I mean, when me and my husband first got together, we did 50-50, for a long time. And then it got to a point where he was like, okay, I'm making more than enough money. Keep your money. You know what I mean? Keep your money for yourself. And, I put my little money away and things get tight. Oh, wait, I got some money.
Right.
Then we work together, build up again. Like, okay, I'm laid back again, and I got some money,
Yeah,
oh, we want to buy some property, use my money. We want to do this, we use my money. So it's good to have a team partner. My first husband didn't want to be my team. So it's really important to understand that, you aren't just their spouse, you're their friend.
Yeah.
You have to be their friend.
Yeah.
And if you're a business partner, or some people go into business and their spouse isn't in business, but baby, you in business too. Like, cause you gotta have your spouse's back. I got friends who got businesses and their wives don't help them. And I'm like, come on now. Like, he ain't even sending out the shipments because he doing everything else. Just ship it for him. Just help him out. You gotta know what you're getting into before you get into it. Cause some people just can't handle that life.
Yeah, because we did a whole episode talking about how to support an entrepreneur in a relationship setting in that context. And it is hard, especially, if you're not one, I feel like it's even harder for different reasons. Because I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, it's hard because you're an entrepreneur and you're just busy. But if you're not an entrepreneur, it's hard because you can't even understand what's going on. Exactly. It's like, why have you been in this room working on this for 30 days? You haven't made any money. Like, you got to cut this out, But when you with the entrepreneur, it's like, we understand the vision, but I'm on mine too. Yeah. So it's like, it's trying to find that balance. Yeah. Kind of before I wanted to wrap up with, kind of some key takeaways. But before we did that, to talk me through the cons or like the challenges of, like you said, when it comes to dating someone or working with someone who is an entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges, that come with that?
So some of the pros, obviously, is because you both understand each other. I'm focused. I'm busy. I'm trying to get this done. Exactly. And when I'm up all night, I'm busy. When I'm up gone in the morning, I'm busy. When I'm networking, I'm busy. When I'm going outside, I'm busy. And you understand that and you respect that. Like, okay, they're doing their thing. That's good. The cons to it, though, sometimes people get tunnel vision when they are busy and they forget that you still exist. Because even though you're busy, that does not mean that you can't take that time out to still spend with your spouse. Yeah. It does not mean that, okay, if it's 30 days in a month, I'll give you your 29. But that doesn't mean at that 30th day you shouldn't be at least spending some time with me. You should, and men tend to get tunnel vision like that. Yeah. And they just forget, like, you're like, hey, I'm over here cooking in this skimpy ass outfit, I'm trying to right, but they just get tunnel vision. Yeah. So
that's me. I feel like in our relationship.
Yeah, our dynamic is completely
I'll get to working and I'll be in it. And I'm in it and I'm creating and I'm doing it. And I'll just feel him looking at me like
breathing on you.
Yeah, because it's like I'm clingy, but I also got ADHD. So it's like whenever I like have that, get to that point where it's like, oh, I'm trying to work, it won't work. Now I'm just staring at you. Because we have the double offices and it's just like, entertain me, like I'm bored.
Yeah, so that's us. Like, oh shoot, okay, well, would you like to play a game? Or
I'll be man.
Or you want to just hang out or something?
Yeah, because you do have to stop. You do have to make a point where you're like, okay, I worked 30, 40 hours in 2-3 days, it seemed like. Yeah. And it is a time where you have to be like, okay, you know what? I do got to give my spouse some type of attention. Mm-hmm. We can watch a quick movie together. Yeah. We can eat some popcorn. We can do what we do. And then I'm back to work. Yeah. Like I'm going to roll over and get my laptop, Yeah. So, but that's really probably like one of the biggest cons is just they get tunnel vision and they forget to like take a second and attend to the family, attend to the spouse, and you're like, hey, I'm over here. But, I couldn't imagine dating anybody that like really wasn't an entrepreneur. Yeah. Like, and he will really have to understand like my life. Like he would really, because it's just so busy. It's so busy. And some men just like, oh, you too busy for me. You're too, so. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't for you, baby. Yeah, exactly. Right. So being that my husband's as busy as he is and I'm as busy as I am, that is definitely a pro because I don't have to wait. I mean, hear somebody saying like, you're not giving me any time. You're not giving me any attention. But you still have to make that time. Yeah. Because my husband's he's a tunnel vision. Right. He'll go a year if he could and just not give anything. You're like, hey, motherfucker, hi. I am over here, so that's probably it.
Oh man. And it's kind of to wrap up, you're like, again, with all these hats that you wear, like, what are some tips? Because it's like I give people tips and coach people on the way I manage my time, but you have even, it seems like, more than me, and at times I think I'm the busiest person I know. So like for you, what are some apps or some things, some tools you use to manage your time, calendars, or just how do you show up to things on time? How are you right here? Like, how do you make this stuff work?
How do you breathe? How do you
where do you sleep? How do you sleep?
I have had to really focus on organization and time management, because for me, a typical day is get up at 5:45, I'm meditating, I'm rolling over, I'm grabbing my notebook, my computer, I'm writing, like I'm working on the next book. Wow. And 7:00 comes, I'm getting my baby up, I'm getting her downstairs. We start school at 8. 8 is schools from 8 to 10:30. I'm leaving the house at 10:30. I'm going to see patients. I got to go from Shelby Township to Brownstown to Farmington to Livonia to whatever. I got to get back home in enough time to get her dance class. Now she's at dance class. I got to run to the grocery store. I got to get home. Got to cook dinner. Got to get ready for bed. So really a lot of calendars.
That's why I'm always buying a planner.
I love planners. Next time I see a keyboard, I'm gonna grab it.
Man,
I am planner crazy. I have a written planner and I have my digital I have to have both. I have to have a physical calendar and a digital calendar. I cannot do one. I have to have both. And I have a to-do list. So what I do is at the beginning, see, girl, come on, at the end of the month, I write down everything that I need to do for the coming month. I don't care if it's make a dentist appointment, if it's get my nails done every other Friday, if it's cough. I don't care what it is. It's going on this to-do list. Then from that to-do list, I write down the priorities. I start and I number them 1 to 5. What's the top one? What's the least important one? And then after I get that 1 through 5, I make another list with all the ones and all the 2s and all the 3s, on the 4s, all the 5s, and then I go back to the 1s, and then I take the 1s and I put them in priority, which what comes first.
Colors instead of numbers.
See?
I use colors,
See?
so I might use a different color pen.
Yeah.
Or I use different color pens for each different binder, each different planner, and then I use colors to determine the importance of how much it is. Now I've never done the monthly to-do list. I do like weekly, so maybe I
do it at the end of the month, and then I'm ready for next month, and then I take that 1 month and I break that 1 month down into those weeks.
That's it.
And then boom, whether it, and then I have I do a lot of therapy. I'm really big on therapy. So there's this thing I do where it's 7 things that I do every day, and one of them is delegate something to somebody else. Every day I delegate at least one thing to somebody else. Like, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's asking my sitter to fold my baby laundry. I make sure that I delegate one thing to somebody else. Then I make sure that I connect with my team. I don't care if it's one single thing I do. I call them, hey, anybody want to run anything past me? Anybody want to say anything? Anybody? The third thing I do is I check my bank account, whether it's negative or positive. My bank account. Oh, you got to though. That's the motivation you need. Like, I don't get my shit together. Because
I just hate to see how much I spend over a week. Like, it's times I feel like it's times I went broke because I just refused to open the app. Because I'm like, I don't even want to see it.
Yeah, you know what? I
check mine about 5, 6, 7 times a day.
Yeah, honestly. But that's important. It's important.
And I be like rebudgeting it every time. I be like, okay, I still have the same amount of money I had 2 hours ago, but what can I do with it differently? Okay, maybe instead of spending $15 on that, I spend $10 on that.
Exactly.
Where can I find this cheaper? Actually, I know
that's me, girl.
but maybe Dollar Tree.
That's me, girl. Okay, I put my day 7 right. And then another thing, I move my body. I try to do something to move my body, whether it's stretching or I, as a nurse, I'll be seeing my patients, and I'm like, I do not want to look like this. I do not want to be like this when I get old. I don't want to be there. So I do my stretching, or I don't care if it's just touching my toes and stretching my body, because when you get over 30, them bones get to cracking and my knees cracking and stuff. Another thing I do is I set a new boundary for myself. I said just something simple, like, I'm not going to do this no more, or I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to let somebody do
discipline.
this. Yep, I set a boundary, whether it's for me, whether it's for somebody else. I don't care if it's something super duper simple. Like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I turn my phone off at 8 o'clock. I don't care if it's that. I don't care if I'm not going to check my Instagram after 10. I'm not going to do this. I set a boundary. Every day I set a boundary. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm going to brush my teeth before I check my Instagram tomorrow. Just something, you have to set a boundary. Another thing I do is, I delegate, check my bank accounts, move my body, set a new boundary for myself, connect with my team. I do one money generating activity every day. One money I don't care if it's setting up a lead magnet. I use
what are some examples of that?
So it could be setting up a lead magnet.
Yes, I love lead magnets.
It could be scheduling an email.
So is it something that I have to make? Is it required to make you money in that instant?
No.
Or okay, then I like that. I really like
it. Can be something that's gonna make me money long term, but I may not have, like, for me, I like to set up one email a day. I don't care if it's going to be scheduled for 10 years from now. I like to do it because what happens is life gets in your way, and this week I might get sick and I can't schedule nothing. So if I got it already done, then I kind of got it done. Yeah. And even if it's sometimes I'll just scroll through Instagram and look at different reels and be like, I'm gonna do that reel tomorrow. I'm gonna do that reel next week. That's something that counts.
Oh, don't tell her that. Don't tell her.
That's something that counts.
Don't tell her that, bro.
I've been really trying to, just how you were saying, like, you had to really pound in on time management and organization. I've been really trying to be really serious about that. Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of talking over the last week. And I was just like, this has to be the week. There's no, I'm going to try. Because that's what I say a lot. I'll be like, I'm going to try. Yeah. And it's like, no, I am going to do this next week. And it is going to happen. And I'm like, I've been trying to really be consistent with that. Like, my business page is scheduled to the end of this month. I don't have to make a single post. I don't have to do anything. So that is always scheduled. So if I do get sick, or it's like, I really do want to go to this party, or I'm behind on orders, I need to only focus on that, or just got a new client. And normally when I get new, like, media management clients, it's a lot that I have to do because they don't have no graphics. They don't have no hashtags. They don't know no content schedule. So I got to make a whole bunch of stuff, and that takes a lot of time. Yeah. So I'm like, I have to, very, like, hound in on that organization, but actually just do it. So I did set up like I have my whole week planned out. So Mondays is editing content days. Tuesdays is I make a new product for my business, something that I've never posted on my page before. Wednesday is shooting content. So I'm like, I now I want to make it to where, since you were talking about doing one thing a day that's money generating, making also a daily task and all. I'm thinking as I'm talking, making a daily task for all 7 of those days that are is specific to something that will generate me money
a little
in the future right now. Something.
Just one tiny little thing, even if it's just going on Robinhood app and looking at the stock that you want to buy tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Just one thing. And then the last thing I do is
Robinhood. And I got some money.
See, girl, see?
And I need to do more research on that.
See, I did that.
I made one trade and they made me like $1 and that was it.
Oh, girl, I had got in on the AMC before it had went through the roof. Oh, I was so happy.
Oh, honey.
Because you got out of there too. A lot of people be trying to wait till they do it again. It's like, no, you gotta get out.
Nope. But that's one generating money thing.
Exactly.
And then the last thing I do is I think $1 million thoughts. Every day I think of $1 million thought. So how I do mine is I'm sure you heard of Bob Proctor.
I hate when someone says I'm sure and then I don't, and then it feels even worse.
You said Bob Proctor?
I haven't.
Oh my God.
I feel like I've heard Proctor, but I don't know about Bob. Who is that?
It's called Born Rich. So it's an old guy, Bob Proctor. I don't know if you guys have Scribe, the audio book.
I heard of Scribe.
Okay, you can do it on there, but it's a YouTube series. It's 6 parts to it. Every morning I listen to it. When I say that, I promise you, I mark my word, I promise you, you are going to change your life the very second you start listening to it.
Wow.
It is by far, it's so old, but it's still so current. The things he talk about, the way he talk about manifestation, the way that he talks about like, why aren't you not rich because you don't want to be. It's simply because you don't want to.
And I like that.
You will love it. It's on YouTube and it's on Scribe too, but you can listen to it on YouTube. Every morning when I get up, that's the first thing I start listening to. I don't care if it's for 10 minutes. I don't care if it's for 15 minutes. If I'm driving in between my patients, sometimes I'll try to listen to it. I don't care. If you just listen to 15 minutes every single day, get through all them parts and start all over again, I promise you, it's gonna change your whole mind frame.
Because I was also trying to think of a way of something motivating. I was thinking about downloading this app that it just sends you like daily scriptures and daily motivations and things just to be motivated. And it was like business. It was a business-based motivational
you ain't gonna have to listen to nothing else
type of things.
You gonna be like, oh my God. Because I listen to it. I read a lot and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I listen to probably a new audiobook every week. And so I am all but that one there. I listen to it every single day.
Is it a book or is he just
it's a seminar that he did. It's a seminar. It's all, you're gonna hate the music. I laugh every time I hear it. But I was like, this shit. But I promise you, when you just start listening to it, like on the way home, if y'all just go onto YouTube, type in Bob Proctor, Born Rich, and you'll see it say like part 1 through part 6, and just listen to just a little bit on the way home, on the drive. Just be quiet and listen, and I promise you, I'm like, damn. Okay, and it's just gonna pull you in more and more and more and more and more. And I listen to it every single. I don't care if I'm listening to any other audiobook. I listen to probably the 48 Laws of Power probably 1,000 times. Art of Seduction 1,000,000 times. Like I'm really big on those type of books.
I can't do the audiobooks. I don't comprehend it.
I used to try to read, but I'm just so busy.
Yeah,
I can't have no time.
I sucked at reading books if they ain't have pictures. Like Diary of a Wimpy Kid is still my favorite series to this day. I wish I went back and like started reading it like when they kept going, because I know they kept going after I graduated. But
I done bought like 2 books and I'm like, baby, we should read this book, and he'll be like
reading is just so, because it's like I could just be doing something else.
Yeah, I do them. I do the audiobooks. I have to do the audiobooks. Shonda Rhimes' book, Year of Yes. That's a good one. I literally have I'm going to just show you really quick a list of all of the books that I read. Like I am a big reader, especially when it comes to just bettering yourself. It's just trying to. Okay, here we go. These are my books that I listen to.
Oh my goodness.
It's 75 books on here. And and they are all like 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, Think Like a Monk. That one was a really good one.
Monks are, man.
started to do some research in the Buddhism.
I love it.
I started to.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that's a whole culture that's mastered stoicism.
Yeah, you gotta listen to or read it. You can read it too, but his audiobook is really good. He does it himself. But Think Like a Monk, that one's a really good one too. But just try. Literally, I just listen to audiobook every week. I'll be like, this week I'm listening to this. This week I'm listening to that. So.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, I feel like you're like you've listed like so many things that so many people would look at as like career-ending things or things that just were like, all hope is lost. I have nothing to do. So like what you talked about the manifestation, and if you're not rich, you don't want to be. Like, I feel like you like. That's why I feel like if you wrote a book about your story and like it could probably do pretty well because it's like you're not one of those people who you're not one of the people who get rich and say, oh, you get rich and then or you've been past something and you're like, oh, you need to work hard. But it's like people, if like they actually like look at your story, it's like, oh well, let me, because you're one of those people. It's like, oh, she did it. I mean, for sure, because it's like so many things that happened to you that you mentioned. Like, I mean, just one of those many things. Someone will look at it like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, people always ask me like, how in the hell? Because like I said, my baby brother died in 2016. 3 years later, my second brother was murdered. 3 years later, my mama died. So it was like three. Yeah,
and it's like it's hard to set back. And
for a second, I was like, oh my God. In 3 years, am I gonna die?
Oh my God, yeah.
But then I took it. I was like, you know what? No, 3 is now my favorite number. And you know what's so crazy about that is this building was the third building that we looked at. We just obtained our first business loan, which was the third business loan.
Wow.
Like everything, the address starts with 3. Like, so 3 is.
Yeah.
And my mom had 3 kids, so it's, I always take and I turn it into something positive. Like, you know what? I'm not going to think about that. I'm good. I'm be here talking.
I hear it when you talk.
To make you stronger.
Yeah. I'm be 110 years old. I'm be acting like I'm dead and I'm going to wake up like I ain't dead. Gotcha.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be me. So I know what I want and I'm adamant about it and I speak it and I don't let anything else come into, like, if somebody start, oh, well, you sure to take your ass somewhere else with that. I don't want to hear that. Am I sure? It's gonna happen. If I say it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
I'm heavy on that.
Wow.
My parents, like, I was talking to them about some stuff and my parents, they were like, oh, well, nothing is wrong with school, but I'm talking to them about a business. And they were like, well, what about school? You're not
because they think, what about insurance? What about retirement?
And I'm like,
401k, all that.
Plan. And I'm like, it's a whole business idea that they don't know nothing about. Just that. So I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
You have to protect it.
And I'm not interested in hearing that. I don't want to hear your doubts and then it's happening. Even if it takes me a while, even if I fall down, even if I lose all my money, I go broke as a joke.
You're gonna get it, keep it going. When I went to nursing school, in Ohio, in Findlay, Ohio. And I remember when I told everybody I was going to go down there because all the programs at that time here, you couldn't get into a nursing program. It was like really hard because they had waiting lists. Wow. So I was like, you know what? I'm just go to Ohio. And everybody was like, well, how you going to do that in work? I'm going to do both. You know what I did for 15 months? I drove to Ohio Monday through Friday. I left at 6 in the morning, drove to Ohio, went to school, left 4, came home, went to work midnight from 7 at night to 6 in the morning, left here again at 6 in the morning, went back and forth. I never spent the night in Ohio. I drove back and forth for 15 months. I didn't have no dollar. Like, I didn't have no damn money. It was times where I ate an apple and a Mountain Dew, and that was all I had all day long because I had no money because all my money went to gas to get down there. But I was like, I don't give a damn. I am doing it. Everybody was like, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I'm going to get this shit done. And I did it. And I did it.
If you wanted to happen.
Yeah. I'm not going to let nothing stand in my way. If I say I want it and I say it's mine. I'm getting it.
So what type of advice, and I want to make sure I get you back to wherever you need to go next. But
I'm gonna go change into scrubs. Right? I'm literally going to see patients. I got scrubs in the car.
My God. So, like, what is some advice? Because it's like, this is actually like, a question, like, definitely for myself, because it's like there's been adversity definitely, has slowed, my entrepreneurial journey several times. And there are so many bad things that happen. I'm like, oh, this means I'm supposed to stop. And I know that happens to a lot of people. So, like, I know you're at a point where you have a huge level of stoicism, the bad things that happen. You have a huge level of conviction. You really know where you want to go and all that. Like, what are some advice that you give to other entrepreneurs to build that conviction? And what is some advice you give to entrepreneurs to be able to look adversity in the eye and keep going how do you build that mind state, and like what are some traits you have to like form to kind of survive in this space?
Go online, go to your local funeral home, and pull up their obituaries. You're gonna see how life is so damn short.
Man.
You ain't gotta watch the news. Don't even watch the news. Don't watch the news. Don't watch CNN. Right now, for me, it's the war thing. Just over seeing all them babies.
Oh my God, I just saw something.
Yeah, so like just seeing that for me right now is this could be me. This could be, but just literally go to your local funeral home and pull up the obituaries and look at their lifeline and look how small those time periods are, and be like, how either it's one thing gonna happen. You either gonna do it or you ain't gonna do it, and either if you do it or you're not, you're gonna die anyway. So if you're gonna die anyway, you might as well get it done and do it, and at least leave something behind that is your legacy. Because a lot of people are gone and they're not even thought about. They're not remembered. They have nothing to leave behind. Leave something behind. Just even if it's just one little thing, one little mark, leave something behind. Work on leaving something behind. If you ain't got no kids, it's still leave your mark on the world. You have to leave something. And so that's one thing I do, is always think like, if I turn an hourglass upside down, we don't know if we're closer to death or not. For us, I'm 37. I'm not expecting to die no time soon, but it very well could happen. My little brother went out to go hang out with his friends to celebrate him moving to Ohio the next day. He had his bag, his suitcase was on the bed, packed for him to leave the very next day, and he was caught in crossfire. He didn't intend for that to happen. So I always just say, look at people's obituaries. As crazy as that sounds, look at people's obituaries and be like, you know what? I have to make something happen now. And I have ADHD as well. So
oh my God, you're making me look so bad. Because I actually thought in my head at the top of this episode, when I was thinking about all your scheduling and stuff, and I was looking at all the things I read about you, I'm like, there's no way. Because I was going to think like, could she relate? There's no way she does. But that's insane.
ADHD as well. One moment I'm scrolling over here and then I'm distracted. And I'm over here and I'm over here and I'm over here. But that's why I have so many calendars. Like I literally, and just marking them off makes you feel so good. So it doesn't matter if you are trying to be an entrepreneur or if you're just trying to be a regular everyday person. You have to create some type of goal. You have to look at those goals and be like, okay, I don't care if it's one thing on here that I'm going to complete. I'm going to complete one thing at least, and just leave my one mark on the world, because life is just way too short. And we hear it all the time, but we really kind of take it for granted
until someone passes, and then we think about it until we done grieving them. Then we go back
on the obituary website and you see like, man, this person was only alive for 5 years. This person was alive for 20. This person was alive for 70. But it's even I have patients and they will tell me like, oh, they'll be 80, 90 years old. Like, I wish I would have, and I wish I would have, and I wish I would have. I don't want to wish I did nothing. Yeah. I want to just do it. I don't want to get till I'm 90 years old. I'm like, I wish I would have had enough courage to, like we got to get some courage. You got to go see the wizard.
Right. You're right.
So just really just every day, just waking up and just saying, you know what, today, I know it may not be the best day ever. I know I might end the day in a shitty mood. I know that, but just doing that. And I find every day, I complain less every single day, to the point now where you barely will ever hear me complain. I try to make it where I do not. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care where I've been. I don't care where I'm going. I don't care what I got to do tomorrow. I'm like, you know what? I'm here to do it. I'm here to do it. I'm here to do it. I got to do it. And get your sleep. Get your sleep.
Yeah.
That's one thing I make sure, like, I have a bedtime.
I don't know how you do this stuff, bro.
I didn't used to have a bedtime. I used to be up to 2, 3 in the morning working, and wake back up at 6 to start all over. Now no more. I take my ass to bed. I set my timer. I go to bed. I have to, because if I don't, I'm just not going to be the best that I can be.
I've noticed that in myself.
So I'm just too drained to do it. So I focus on my sleep. I focus on my mental health. I focus on not complaining. I focus on my daily 7. And if I get in a mood where I'm like, I go to them obituaries.
Wow. That's a heck of a tool to use, as opposed to, somebody might say, oh, go look at something happy. It's like, no, go look at this thing. Remind you, reality check. So
every day, every day is somebody. it's every day. I mean, and this is Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how many young people
that it makes me always, yeah.
So you gonna look at that like, damn, that life is short. Life is too short to be worried about stuff that don't even matter, stuff that you can't even control. Like I know I can control getting up in the morning and brushing my teeth and washing my face and starting my day, but I can't control what's gonna happen once I leave this house. So I'm just gonna focus on what I can focus on, and I'm gonna make the best of that. Man,
I feel like we're gonna be listening back to this talk for this gonna be our proctor. We're gonna put this on in the car, be playing this, because man,
it's gonna be life changing. Y'all gonna be like, oh my God, where have you been?
Man, I mean, I feel like this has been a life changing little sit down, because I mean, since I first started going through your page, I'm like, oh, I got to see the things that you're doing, so I'm like, oh, yeah, we're gonna need to talk to her, because I wanted to know, especially about the homeschool. I wanted to know what was going on, but I mean, I do want to say I appreciate you after, especially even getting to hear more of the things and responsibilities you have. I appreciate you making some time for us.
Yeah, no problem. I seen the patient this morning. I had scrubs on.
Oh my God!
I took my scrubs off in the car. Literally, I took everything off in the car, pulled my pants up, got dressed. I had a meeting up the street. Went to the meeting, came here. Now I get back, put my scrubs back on, go back out.
Yeah, you're one of my new inspirations now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, definitely appreciate you, Byrd, for sitting down with us. And we appreciate all you guys. I mean, you guys should really be appreciating us for giving you Byrd and giving you her time, because otherwise it probably would be very expensive to get her time. So definitely appreciate you sitting down with us. Nita, you have any other last words for us? I mean, it's going to be hard to top any of that, but if you have anything.
Yeah, the only thing I really just have to say is, I mean, just do it, If you really want to make something happen, it's really up to you. I feel like, that saying where it's like, if they can do it, you can do it. And I feel like that's so true with so many things. And it's just like, you are what's holding you back. So if you make that decision to say, I'm going to go, it doesn't have to be a business. It could be, I'm going to go to school, or I'm going to get this job, or I'm going to get this promotion. I'm going to do whatever it is that I got to do to achieve this particular goal, whatever it is, even if you want to act in movies or sing on stage or walk down a runway or be an influencer, whatever that is, you just have to do what you need to do to get to that point. So it's you that's holding you back.
I agree. And I feel like definitely my biggest takeaway is just, like you said, it's kind of in your hands. It's when you kind of decide to wake up and just decide, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not waiting for it. I think Rose made a really good point when he said, don't get so caught up in like, oh, I committed to reaching this goal by this certain time. Just I'm committed to doing the work required to reach my dreams. When that comes, is up to when it comes. So then there's a level of falling in love with the process. So I'm sure with your schedule, if you're doing it this much, like there has to be some dopamine in it. There has to be some parts you love about it, and there's some passion there. So I think when it comes to these goals, I mean, have goals that you can have fun achieving, because I mean, you have to stay consistent, and it's hard to stay consistent when the process just isn't fun at all. And I mean, just decide to do it, right? Wake up and decide to do it. So definitely, again, appreciate you sitting down with us, Byrd. And do you have any last gems for the audience? Anything else you want to lay on them before we get out of here?
No. Oh, I actually do got one. Okay, so here's one.
Let's do it.
In this book I read, which is something I think about often, I read in this book. It said that if the Grim Reaper came today, and he came up in this room and he said, hey, you, it's time to go. And you say, well, I didn't get to do this, and I didn't get to do that, and I still got to do this, and I still got to do that. He gonna say, well, why haven't you done it? It's too late now. Like, that's your fault. It ain't my fault. I can't pick you up.
Right.
You're the one who ain't do all this. But it's always when you get to the end, that's when you start to, well, I didn't. Don't wait to get to that point before you decide. Yeah, that's when when you get to that point, when you get to the end, make sure you say, well, I did the best I could.
Yeah. I
did the best I could. I ain't do everything, but I did the best I could. That's the most fun.
I'd much rather be talking about something, because I honestly would rather fail than to never see. Because I'd rather sit on my bed like, I tried to make the NBA, it didn't work. Like it didn't work. So it's cool because I'd rather be told no, you can't do it. So then I know. But if you never find out, like no, that's gonna eat you alive. But we can definitely talk all day, and I would love to. But I appreciate you sitting down with us, Byrd. I would love to have you again whenever. You know, especially on our relationship episodes, we'll get deeper into some of this tea.